Hello, Midians, and welcome to the classroom. Location? Hellsing headquarters. Hellsing, a tale of vampires, Nazis, and the Catholic Church, is simply one of the most unique series I've ever experienced. Not just because of the wonderfully grim lore, the incredible art, or even the unique way the story actually unfolds, no. Hellsing is unique because, like the creatures of the night it stars, it has been brought to life only to be killed again and again. Hellsing first began publishing in Shonen Gahosha's seinen manga magazine, written and drawn by Kota Hirano. Hellsing began releasing in April 1997. The first anime adaptation began airing in 2002, only running for 13 episodes and quickly being supplanted by a second anime adaptation, the much more manga-accurate Hellsing Ultimate. Before both of these were crushed in popularity, however, by the third adaptation, Hellsing Ultimate Abridged.
Huh? Suddenly it reeks of hypocrisy in here. Oh, if it isn't the Catholic Church. And what's this? No little Timmy glued to your crotch.
Light spoilers for all versions of Hellsing ahead. This tale of humans and horrific monsters joining forces in the face of pure evil, the likes of which the world of Hellsing hasn't seen since World War II, is incredibly gripping. No matter what format you experience it in, manga, anime, satirical web shows circa 2016, Hellsing is an absolute revelation of horror action storytelling. But seriously, just read the fucking manga, oh my god. Kota Hirano is simply one of the most incredible artists who has ever contributed to the pantheon of action manga. His character designs are dripping with detail and personality, from Alucard's massive brimmed hat and goggles, to the complete arsenal on characters like Saris and the whole flock of wild geese mercenaries. However, the incredibly detailed, many times incredibly horrific artwork simply does not have an equivalent in animated form. If a new adaptation of Hellsing were animated today, it would still be an incredible task to adapt Hirano's artwork in any way that pays it its due respects. You would need to kill, like, 5 MAPPA offices at least. Many of the chapters, especially when the action really gets going in Hellsing, are only a scant few pages, but they're filled with art that makes them feel endless, and so much pitch black ink that it legitimately raises the weight of the manga by several pounds. Combine that with an endless war story which never lets its foot up off the gas, and I completely understand why you would want to animate this incredible series ASAP. But I'm sorry, it just wasn't time yet for this incredible action series to come to unlife. But luckily, it is always time to sit down and read Hellsing. It's just, sometimes I feel a little weird recommending reading something. It's almost like I'm letting him down.
Fuck books.
Oh, no,
Books are for pussies.
No.
Go hit the gym.
Hellsing follows the titular Hellsing organization, their dedicated leader Integral Fairbrook Wingate's Hellsing, the loyal family butler Walter C. Dornez, about 100 cannon fodder soldiers at any one point, and of course, the attack dog of Hellsing, the Hound of Baskerville, the no-life king,
Alucard. Dr. Alucard. Bruce Wayne.
Shit, no, that's in a couple weeks.
Here standeth the bird of Hermes, eating mine own wings!
Hellsing is an off-the-books branch of the Royal British military meant to protect the Protestant Church. Saint Michael, please protect me from these heathens before guiding them to peace and the fiery pits of hell. Amen. I'm from an Irish family, an Irish Catholic family, and while I may not be the most religious guy in the world, my attempts at cultdom have been an utter failure. What I am is a fucking spiteful little nerd. And while I don't have any beef with Protestants except for their lethal lack of drip and pizzazz and the issues with any church, I, along with most peoples of the world, still have beef with the royal family, mine coming from my Irish side, which is why I was really hoping that I would be able to root for the Catholics here. The church has done so many evil things that I can find it comforting to have a more positive Catholic character like Daredevil. But we'll get back to these Catholics later. Hellsing is a story that's steeped in blood, history, and a true virtue, that whether you be vampire, Midian, Protestant, or even a human being, there is no enemy more vile than
Nazis.
And no good deed more holy than
Killing Nazis.
The primary villains of Hellsing are the Letzetz Battalion, a Kampf group of Nazis who squirreled themselves away into the caves of South America. This reignition of global fascism would be frightening enough. However, this group of Waffen-SS have somehow become even more deeply, deeply evil.
They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood.
Led by a chubby, bespectacled monster of a man known simply as Herr Major, or even in hushed tones among his allies, as the Acting Fuhrer. Herr Major and his posse of pieces of shit have tapped into the supernatural, utilizing the same dark forces as Hellsing once used to defeat this Millennium group. Combine this with the earthly agents of divine punishment, the Catholic kill squad known as Iscariot, and Hellsing is a powder keg of conflict ready to kick off at any moment. One of my favorite aspects of Hellsing is how it uses real, almost unbelievable history to inform its story. While it's pretty well known now that a good amount of Nazi high command escaped to South and Central America, what is much less commonly known is their occult beliefs. Not only was Nazi ideology rife with the idea of the mythical Übermensch, meet Heinrich Himmler, Adolf Hitler's right-hand man and one of the first examples of a truly Waluigian naming convention. In between studying Armenian runes and giving stump speeches, Heinrich Himmler searched for Mjolnir, Thor's legendary hammer, certain that it would be an absolutely unstoppable superweapon and secure 1,000 years of Nazi rule. You know, there's a lot of things that I don't like about the government, but I don't think that any of our vice presidents have ever spent any time searching for Thor's hammer. So thank you, America. Herr Major's own high command in Millennium reflects this occult fascination, even more so than their immortal army of vampire Nazis. Lieutenant Zoran Blitz is a demon of a woman, a two-face of tattoos, the touch of which gives her the ability to cast illusions and seemingly read minds. Blitz seems to have the most occult abilities of all of the Millennium group, although will probably be outdone by Herr Major. Able to project images of the dead and even seemingly splitting Hellsing headquarters in half. Rip Van Winkle, however, the sniper of Herr Major's inner circle, is a giggling madwoman, equipped with an umbrella, wild hair, and a pair of spectacles. This woman out of time is incredibly lethal, taking down whole SAS squads with just one round from a musket. Doc is the loyal scientist of Herr Major, with a Suicide Squad-esque detonation switch to light the failed lieutenants of Millennium ablaze. Herr Major's bodyguard, known only as the Captain, is a shape-shifting silent killer, even able to go toe-to-toe with the trash man of the Royal Protestant Knights, which is a lot cooler than it sounds.
That's my character! I'm the trash man!
And finally, Schrödinger, a teleporting werewolf boy who reflects the very real and weird fascination that neo-Nazis have with catboys. I really do wish that I was kidding. That's not to mention the immortal vampiric soldiers of the Letzetz Battalion, who ultimately raise London in a sea of fire, doing things that I'm worried about showing. Sweet, sweet monetization, baby. However, the fictional terror of the Nazis' Letzetz Battalion might honestly be less horrifying than the very real horror of the Catholic Church. While now, the Church still has very definite issues.
Don't you think the Catholic Church went a little too far?
More so than my cartoon.
All right, listen.
A couple of jokes. I know this is a morning show. You can't bring up all those crimes.
You know what?
It is genuinely nothing even comparable to the mass slaughters of the Crusades and Inquisitions. While London burns, now Archbishop Enrico Maxwell sees an opportunity to not only recapture Britain from the heretical Protestants, but from the freaks at Hellsing as well. The Catholics and Protestants have had violent conflict for centuries, which is very odd for two religions that are almost identical. In the heart of London, Nazi Zeppelins and Vatican-sanctioned attack helicopters fill the skies. And on the streets, 2,875 mobilized Catholic Crusaders and Inquisitors, 572 vampirized Waffen-SS, and 3 members of Hellsing, the supernatural order of the Royal Protestant Knights. Hellsing has before had commanders, mercenaries, even loyal butlers, but now they have been whittled down to a young but promising vampire markswoman, a leader with an embattled badass soul, and of course, Hellsing's trump card. Alucard, the immortal Nosferatu, is quite clearly and obviously one of the best parts of Hellsing. I mean, he's one of the best parts of existence in general, so that makes sense. From the very first chapter, where we see him murder a rapist vampire priest, destroy hordes of undead ghouls, and even take in a new potential vampire, I'll drip the hell out. Jesus Christ, Alucard, don't hurt him. Alucard himself is one of the most unique parts of Hellsing. In a lot of shonen action manga, characters truly are underdogs in a fight or an arc, until they break through some sort of barrier, maybe even earning a new ability to overcome their opponent. It's amazing, I love it. But Hellsing is a seinen action manga for an older audience and is more comfortable in altering or even abandoning these tropes. Alucard is never, ever, ever an underdog. He's more similar to a dog fighting a baby. While Alucard's primary weapon is a massive pistol which he is incredibly proficient with, his real weapon is himself, his strength, his speed, and every victim he's ever wrought. His true weapon, the Control Art System, presides over the ability for Alucard to release his former victims under his own domain. This is the horrifying story mechanic which has the most impact on the action scenes of Hellsing, Alucard's at least, but he is far from the only incredible combatant in this series. While Alucard's opponents may believe that they have gotten the jump on him like the jackass Luke Valentine, that will only last so long before Alucard unleashes the unimaginable horrors.
Now, Luke Valentine, it's time to educate you on how a real vampire does battle.
Alucard only play fights with lesser vampires, humans are not even worth considering, and then Kota Hirano just fucking flexes for like 5 pages at least. This is another reason why I have to recommend reading the manga as opposed to watching either of the animated adaptations, to be honest. While in the anime these scenes are still obviously cool, it would be almost impossible to not make them cool, I just don't think that they're able to capture what the manga can. What I've captured. I've got it captured right here. True Black's gnashing teeth, and no mid-2000s TV CG. And the only person who can control this horrific mass of violence and bloodshed is Sir Integra Fairbrook Wingate's Hellsing. And yeah, damn Alucard, I do not blame you. Integra is a truly impressive character, able to stay strong in the most horrific of situations. Hellsing is full of characters that I love, however, I'm not quite finished with it. That's why I've been trying to not make too many definitive statements about how characters will end up, especially considering the betrayal I just suffered. Stupid fucking Alfred would never become a vampire. I don't know, maybe he has. So I hope I don't regret saying that this character is my favorite part of all of Hellsing. Killing Judge, Hitman, Angel Dust,
Angel Dust.
Father, Alexander,
Anderson!
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and for thy possession the ends of the earth. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Father Alexander Anderson, just as Alucard is Hellsing's trump card, is the deadly force of the Vatican's Section 13 Iscariot. An absolute physical powerhouse, able to deploy a storm of bayonets or even books of spell paper, able to put up barriers and even vanish out of thin air. Not to mention his Irish accent, which is only a little difficult to read in the manga. I can do that. And his love of quoting the Bible, something I find personally compelling, in the way that it reminds me of my upbringing, like my mom singing Amazing Grace to me for bedtime. And she never even did an inquisition on me. Alexander Anderson is the type of religious character anyone can appreciate, in my opinion, as just the coolest shit ever, like the Sisters of Battle in Warhammer. And the real cherry on top for me is the way that Anderson deals with heretics and freaks, from what I've seen. While a psychopath like Archbishop Enrico Maxwell may be giddy to slaughter any and all, Anderson can at least spare some for now. We see this not only in one of the funniest scenes of the entire series, when a fight between Anderson and Alucard is stopped by a parade of the elderly. Anderson, at least with Alucard, is more interested in a friendly sort of combat, a brotherly bout of bloodshed. But one of my favorite moments from Anderson so far, and also one of my favorite moments in the entire series, is between Maxwell and Anderson. Maxwell has gone full Civilization 6, gunning for a religious victory via militarization, deciding that now is a great time to essentially ally with the vampire Nazis. Once proselytizing from the skies, now trapped in his grounded Pope-mobile, Anderson puts the mad Archbishop to death.
We are the soldiers of Iscariot. We are the instruments of God's wrath on earth. Together we march in lockstep to shatter the dreams of the unrighteous and unholy. Goodbye, my friend.
I still have one deluxe edition of Hellsing to go. I could go watch what I have left on Hellsing Ultimate, but I really do believe that the manga is the better way to experience it, no matter how fucking badly I just want to go watch it. Hellsing also has some smaller elements that I really appreciate. The comedy is rare and brief, but when it arrives, it is always a breath of fresh air, especially during the Blitz on London. Another thing I find very interesting about the world building and especially action of the series is the blend of military technology and the unimaginable horrors. But you know, what's the difference? Ceres using insane anti-aircraft weaponry, the Millennium Project's use of technology, and even Alucard using the EXP-14LE experimental stratospheric jet as a battering ram against Rip Van Winkle. Rip Van Winkle. Hellsing is a truly unique story. The plot is incredibly vast and violent, with an accelerating pace that makes it nearly impossible to put down. The dialogue is wonderful, with allusions to religious texts, legends, and even classic monstrous literature, like Alucard dubbing the ship he rides into a fiery London on, the Demeter. And that is all without mentioning the best part of Hellsing. The art is absolutely jaw-breaking, ground-dropping, simply incomparable to any other manga I've read. An action series like My Hero Academia or a horror one like Junji Ito might have incredible art in their own ways, but there's something about Hellsing that is just too unique to pass up. I really hope you go read it, but at the very least go watch it please, because Hellsing Ultimate does seem pretty good, and Hellsing is just one hell of a good time. Folks, thank you so much. Okay. Folks, thank you so much as always for joining me and talking about seriously one of the most unique reading experiences I've had in all of manga. I absolutely adore Hellsing. I think it's fantastic. Please check out the manga if you can. I really do think that these deluxe editions are the best way to go. But even if you watch the anime or even if you get the regular volumes, Hellsing is a hell of a good time. Who said I can't do that again? No one. This is my channel. You're here because of me. I hope. Thank you for joining us as always, folks. But that is the video for this week. I'll see you next time. Oh, goodbye. Ooh.